Hi, and welcome to Island Bowls Live. I'm Jeff Polton. It's my mission to try and get you to try lawn bowling, a sport I've fallen in love with here in the last year or so. So today I thought I'd spend a little time with you talking about the 4 different bowls that I've used since arriving at the club just 10 months ago. It's a cautionary tale, by the way, so stick with me on this one. Right. So when you first arrive to your club will have a lot of bowls for you to use, no cost. This was an example of the first bowl that I used. And you know, your club will have many sets of these bowls, by the way. You'll arrive at your club, they'll be put in your hand, you'll start bowling right away. Obviously, because there's no cost, it keeps your costs down. So this is how I started my career lawn bowling here, is with a club bowl. And you know, frankly, there's probably 30 or 40 sets of club bowls, all different sizes. And in a different video, I'll get into how you should size your bowls. But here I'm just talking about the bowls I've used. So I started off with this bowl. Now, I knew nothing about lawn bowling, to be honest. I didn't know anything about the bias. I didn't know anything about the manufacturers. I didn't know anything about the bowl itself and how it interacts on the rink. But that's okay. That's how everybody starts. So I used this bowl for the first few weeks. And that's how I got hooked on the game. So it was my introduction to the game. It was terrific. Why am I not still using it? Well, the problem that you have with club bowls in my case is that I'd arrived to the club and the set of bowls that I was using last week are now being used by somebody else this week. And so you had to get used to maybe a different size or different grips or what have you. And I, at this point, really liked this game so much that I thought, you know what, I think I'm going to invest in a set of bowls myself so that I can have the same set at my disposal every single day I'm bowling. Now, here on the island, we're in Victoria, it's hard to find used bowls. You know, it's interesting, if you go online in the UK or Australia, thousands of sets of used bowls available for you on places like Facebook Marketplace. Ironically, that's where I found my next set of bowls. So I went online and a lady up in Duncan, which is about 45 minutes north of Victoria, was selling a set of Henselite Classic 2s. By the way, this is the Henselite Classic Deluxe, and as I'll tell you in a minute, they act quite differently on the rink. Their biases are quite different on the rink. Now, at this point, I'm buying this bowl. I still don't know enough about the bias. I have no idea. I'm just on the hunt for a set of used bowls that I can use more regularly. So I go up and I grab these, cost me $225. You know, you can play this game at very little cost, and I've mentioned this on a prior video, very little cost. You know, we have some members that are continuing to use the club bowls years on, and that's perfectly fine. But if you do want to get a bit serious about your game, you're probably going to need to invest in a set of bowls. They can get kind of pricey. So $225 is what I paid for these. And by the way, I repainted these because they were a bit of a horrific all yellow, not my color style. And maybe on another video, I'll walk you through kind of how you can repaint your bowls to make them to look better. So I start using these bowls and I quite like them. And as the season goes on, I am having some success. I won the novice tournament, the interclub novice tournament here within our men's league. I think I finished in the top 7 out of the 23 guys that were playing, you know, good success. So why am I not still using these? During the course of my season, I began to really understand about bias. And if it's one thing you need to understand about buying your first set of bowls is bias. So when I played, I was playing lead. In other words, I was the first to roll the bowls down the green. And these have a fairly narrow bias, meaning on the way to the jack, there's not a lot of bend at first. But late in their travel, they hook in quite dramatically. You know, some people have referred to this as a hockey stick finish. Goes out and it hooks in. So as I drop back into a vice skip situation, or I'm trying out skip positions, which means you're bowling your last bowls, you're encountering a very cluttered head. That's where all the bowls are sitting around the jack, and so your job as a skip is, you know, sometimes you have to try and get around those bowls. That's where this became a little more difficult. Because it's so narrow, I found it tough to really cut in behind a front bowl in front. The other problem I had with this bowl for me is consistency. because of how it really kind of hooks in near the end, I found it more difficult for me to keep the consistency on my delivery. So with that, and with my passion now building for the game, I decided I was going to go on the hunt for a brand new set of bowls. Now, first cautionary tale. Patience, something I lack. Had I at that point stopped for a minute and decided to maybe lean on some other members for their experiences, or had I chosen to maybe roll some games with other members' bowls, my choice might have been a different. As it was, I went online and I tried to find reviews of bowls that might suit me. Again, it was very difficult to find anything online, which is how this channel's come to be, by the way. My determination is to give you a resource, especially a Canadian-based resource, where you'll see bowls that I'll roll down the rink and you'll be able to make your own determination whether it's right for you or not. Bobby Jean Charlton is a legend at our club. She's won the provincials, she's won the nationals, she's won multiple tournaments on the South Island as well. And Bobby Jean uses these bowls, Drake's Pride XPs. And one day I was out there practicing and Bobby Jean said, "Hey, do you want to try these out?" And I said, "Well, absolutely I do." So I tried these XPs and they were smooth and they were like, oh, butter going down the rink. And I would say I probably used them 20 times down the rink and I was hooked. So now I'm on the hunt for Drake's Pride XPs. Hard to find new ones. I found a brand new set in Scotland at David Gourlay Bowls. By the way, shout out to them. They were terrific. The bowls were in my hands within 10 days, by the way. And these beauties arrived. $700 landed here in Canada, by the way. So now you can see the investment level we're talking about. So I got these excitedly in my hands and I start bowling with them and I'm coming to an uncomfortable situation. They're not right. So what's not right about these bowls for me? These grips are quite surface mounted for me. And it makes the grip here for me a little uncomfortable, a little less comfortable than I like it to be. It caused the bowl to sometimes flutter down the rink, something you don't want if you can avoid it. And so it was tail between the legs time when I decided, yeah, you know what, these weren't for me. What did I do? I sold them to Bobby Jean, who, by the way, I think has about 8 or 9 sets of bowls. I sold them to Bobby Jean, and she's used these bowls since. But you know, is it my second cautionary tale? I think it is, right? Patience. Make sure you've got what you need before you start investing in bowls. So now we're back to square one. What do we do? At this point now, I have begun to use other members' bowls quite regularly, and I am narrowing my decision based on a couple of things. One is, maybe the most important one is the grips. And you can see on this bowl, as compared to this bowl, these grips are more pronounced. They're embedded in the bowl. A lot of bowl manufacturers are doing this now, by the way. It makes the bowl feel smaller in your hand, which for me is a good thing because I don't have large hands. The second thing I liked about this bowl was its trajectory to the jack was not dissimilar to the XP's. Nice arc, no massive turn in at the end, quite predictable. So after a lot of back and forth, I settled on one of two bowls, the Taylor Aces, which I don't have here with me, or these guys. This is the Henslite Tiger Bowl. This is the widest bias bowl in the kind of North American collection. What does that mean exactly? It's hard. I'll get into it in another video, but essentially, if you're in Australia, this bowl is very, very wide because your greens are very, very fast, meaning you don't have to use a lot of force to get the bowl down the rink. Here in Canada, in Victoria in particular, we have to, roll these bowls with a little more force to get them down our rink. We'd be lucky if our rinks are 12, 13 seconds to get the bowl from where you are to the jack. Nonetheless, this is the widest bias bowl in the Henslite lineup for kind of our neck of the woods. So I make the leap of faith and I go and buy these. By the way, I had to buy these from Henslite Canada. Landed to me $680, somewhere in there. they arrived quickly, and I began using them immediately. And I just love this bowl. I love it because, it just feels right in the hand. I don't get any more of the flutter down the rink. I can get more consistent with this bowl. I have found that my way around front bowls that are in front seems to be a little more certain to me. And so this bowl has really served me well. This is the first bowl I'm going to do a review with. So if you stick with the channel and come back, I'll have this bowl on the rink, and I'll roll it down there, and you can make your own determination whether it might be the right thing for you. So my lessons learned, obviously, patience. Don't rush to get a new set of bowls until you're really more certain as to what the bowl is, what you want the bowl to do for you, and how you want the bowl to feel in your hands. Once that's done, then you'll need to do a little research. Your best research resource, by the way, are the members in your club. They will help you. They are more than willing to lend you their bowls and give you their experience and their advice. But at the end of the day, it comes back to your comfort level with a bowl, right? So, more to come. Thanks for joining me on Island Bowls Live. I'm Jeff Poulton. Next time, we'll have this bowl on the green, and I'll give you a complete review of it. By the way, if you're on the South Island or Lower Mainland, Island Bowls Live, we've invested in some live streaming equipment. So we can live stream your lawn bowl games on the South Island or the Lower Mainland. 3 cameras, complete audio setup. It's cool, and it's not happening on the island. I think what I really want to do is I want to try and bring profile to the game, because it really is a terrific sport. So until next time, for Island Bowls Live, I'm Jeff Poulton. Keep them rolling.